we have our own personal helicopters up there. Capturing the image. 3 of them lent to us by wealthy benefactors.
Whoa, what a momentous day we had the other day. My goodness. Whoa, this is pretty scary up here. I just had to come back up here to take these signs down. I don't know if you saw, but we said we were having an event in Parliament and a few people got a bit confused and a bit humpy about it, to be honest. So you said you're not allowed to do something in Parliament because you're not, and there's constitutional reasons for that. You can get into trouble. You can't do it in a virtual parliament because there is a virtual parliament, so we had to be a pretend parliament. So we had to knock these signs up a bit sharpish. So take those down now. I don't think we need that. So we'll just catch that, Dave. Yep. Sorry, mate. Oh, Jesus. Sorry about this. As you saw there, oh my gosh, this is a bit hairy to say the least. This is, as you saw there, Birdman on the loose in Westminster. I want to talk to you about books just really quickly. I mean, this is a book that I'm particularly fond of at the moment. David Almond, My Dad's a Birdman. We're going to be announcing a massive book thing in the next few minutes, so stay with me. I love this book. This is a book about a dad after my heart. Dad is building a pair of wings, eating flies and feathering his nest. Auntie Doreen is getting cross and making dumplings. Mr. Pope is parading the streets, shouting louder and louder. And even Mr. Mint, the head teacher, is getting in a flap. And watching it all is Lizzie, missing her mum. No, not even missing her mum, missing her mam. And looking after Dad and thinking how beautiful the birds are. What's behind it all? It's the Great Human Bird Competition, of course. And that book is such an inspiration for me. It's a book about a dad who's a bit crazy, he acts a bit crazy, to inspire his kids, to inspire other kids. He wants to fly over the River Tyne. He's covered himself in feathers. Very Icarus-y. And I guess you could think I'm a bit crazy, sat here on a bit of scaffolding, looking over my goodness, Westminster. I'm sat up here on Big Ben. Pretty full on, to say the least. And that's what this is all about, inspiring our kids, inspiring communities to inspire our kids with creativity. We had a massive day. Was it yesterday? No, the day before, Friday, May Day. Unbelievable day. And I had no idea how many people would turn out in Parliament Square to see, well, not that one, to see what we were up to. It was amazing.
Unfurl the banner, and the people, put your banners down. Use your arms to pass the banner across, just like at a football match. After 3, 2, 1. Okay, start to pass it. We have a camera and a helicopter scene capturing this moment.
Back to your towns, back to your villages, back to your cities. Tell the country, get ready.
Oh, and here I am up here with JD, who's our little robot friend. I don't know if we can get a better look at JD there. Yeah, there's JD. He's not looking down. He's looking up. He's not too keen on looking down at all. Is JD? What do you reckon to all this, JD? What do you think of all this then? Not too sure, eh? Well, how about giving everybody a little bit of a wave back there at home? Can you do that for us? A little bit of a wave. Oh, well, that's a bit of a limp old wave. Why is that? That's a bit of a rubbish wave. What's that all about? Can you do a better one than that? Yeah, oh, maybe not. Okay, well, I'll put you down there. We'll come back to you a little bit later. JD, the robot there, he's, believe it or not, we've been given one of those 500 quid to give away on our UK Art Takeover. So what's it all about? Well, we've got a book thing going on. I mean, I've got my favourite T-shirt on here. This was inspired by this book, the Seth Godin book, The Icarus Deception. And I know a few of you out there are fans of this, people like David Waring up there in Chester. And there's a lovely little piece in this. The Icarus Deception. It's about Icarus, as you know, the Greek myth, the boy who was told not to fly too close to the sun because his wings might melt. The boy who was told not to fly too close to the water because he might get wet and drown. He was given rules and to fly within those. And we've got to help our kids fly high. We've got to help them aim high. We've got to help them find their passion. We call it their art. And in this book, Seth Godin talks about art is frightening. Art isn't pretty. Art isn't painting. Art isn't something you hang on the wall. Art is what you do when we're truly alive. If you've already decided that you're not an artist, it's worth considering why you made that decision and what it might take to unmake it. If you've announced that you've no talent in anything, then you're hiding. Art might scare you. Art might bust you. But art is who we are and what we do, and art is what we need. An artist is someone who uses bravery, insight, creativity and boldness to challenge the status quo. And an artist takes it all of it, the work, the process, the feedback from those we seek to connect with, very, very personally. Art isn't a result, it's a journey. The challenge of our time is to find a journey worthy of your heart and your soul. And that's why we've got art up here on Big Ben today, and that's what art is all about for us, and that's what we're celebrating, and that's what we're here to talk about. And that's why yesterday was so damn special, to see all those people unfold that flag, to unfold that banner, so that we could all see that banner with Elton John, the boy who was given a piano by his mum, the boy who was given a piano to learn music, to learn an art, to learn a craft, to learn a skill, to make some money, to make some friends, and to make the world a better place. And whether you're a fan of Elton John or not, you've got to agree he's achieved on the money, on the fame, on the friends, on the economic output. He's just done incredibly well. That art, that piano has connected with him. And today we put a call out for people like Elton John, artists like him, to join people like Nile Rodgers, to join creative companies and people like Google and Barclays, and we invite Google and Barclays to step up with us again today, to join in our call for creativity, our call for art for all. Look at here, look where I am now, the art of the Big Ben. Just imagine the inspiration, the creativity, the engineering, everything in this building that could be used to inspire young people. Maybe one day we could come back and walk up these stairs with this man who's in charge of it and understand how the clock works, how the mechanics work, how the technology works, how they use digital clocks to keep it in time and connect with the clocks around the world. How might that inspire our kids when they're back in school or when they're learning from home? And that's what this is all about. It's all about teaching our kids and connecting with our kids and inspiring our kids to use their imagination, to pretend, to connect with their art. Their art could be painting, their art could be photography, their art could be cooking, their art could be coding, their art could be robots, their art could be rockets, their art could be design, dancing, drawing, DJing, whatever. And that's what we're here today to do. We're here to launch our UK Art Takeover, and that's what we did here on Friday with over 30 speakers. Unbelievable day. We're going to travel around the UK on this tour. We're going to do pop-ups like we did here in Notting Hill Carnival with the Portobello Radio guys and Gaz Mail on his stand there on All Saints Road. He even built a parliament for us, especially for today. We're going to connect with communities all over the country, dancing, partying, connecting, celebrating art, and the way that art can connect kids with their learning, the way that art can create careers and fuel economies, and how art can connect communities, as they do every summer on the Notting Hill Carnival, supported and sponsored by the Arts Council there. Here's another session we did when we were at the Notting Hill Pioneers Festival just a few weeks before, with a fantastic banging soundtrack here by our friend Count Skylarkin. An amazing day where we did a pop-up literally at a few hours notice. We popped up there with the Steamco drop truck, we put a gazebo up, we made rockets, we printed t-shirts, really connected with the community and just had the most fantastic time. We took our I Love Art posters along there, and that's what we're going to be doing on this UK Art Takeover. We're going to do this in villages and towns and cities across the British Isles, not just England, We're going to be in South Wales on Monday, we're going to be in Northern Ireland on Tuesday, we're going to be in Scotland Wednesday, and back in London on Thursday for the Global Cardboard Challenge. Unbelievable, look at this. I mean, what is not to like about making rockets and having that sort of fun? Art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. And for a community nurse like that to come up and say, I've never seen so many parents engaging with their kids. Everybody's so happy, just wonderful, what great feedback. And that's what we need to do. We need to bring that creativity to the whole country. As I say, Wednesday, I can't wait. No, Tuesday, we are going to be in Belfast at the Titanic Museum, the world's most inspiring shipbuilding museum, a celebration of that ship, the people who lost their lives tragically, but the inspiration to young people and old across the country. A ship built in Belfast, but with steel from Sheffield, and we've got an expert hopefully coming on the show who's an expert on the Titanic, and we're going to be reaching out to him. At the end of the month, we're going to be doing a festival, the 29th to the 31st, the Art of Community Festival, and we're going to be doing that with creative carers, people like the RSA and our friends there at Brewed, Ed and Darren. We've got an inflatable pint pot there, and we were down there the other day testing the screen. We're trying to build our own little Glastonbury in a field in a quiet corner, but it's not going too well, to be quite honest with you. But that's where we're going. And then at the end of the month, the week before that, the 24th of April, we're going to be doing the Hey Kids Book Festival. And today I'm launching the Pass a Kids Book thing. So one of the books that's really inspired me is this book, and if you know anything about me, you'll know about this book, Rocket Boys, a story of 4 boys growing up in West Virginia in the 50s, didn't want to be coal miners, saw the Sputnik satellite and learnt to make rockets and ended up working for NASA. And Homer Hickam, the author of this book, sold millions of copies all over the world. Homer Hickam, the author of this book, has agreed to be the patron of our Rocket Kids Club, which is an incredible honour and an incredible achievement for us to have him on our team like that. And we'll show you a film later of the inspiration that he brought to us here in our community lock-in just the other day. Absolutely fantastically generous man, and we just can't thank him enough, or anybody else who's stepped up to help us. Now, as I just said, one of the things we want to do with our Hey Book Festival, Hey Kids Book Fest, is to inspire people to share their love of reading, to share their favourite books. So what we're going to be doing is every day for the month we're going to be picking a book of the day, and I'm working with Rich Simpson, who's a fantastic primary teacher down there on the Isle of Wight, who I met when we did an Isle of Wight Art Takeover. He had a really obvious passion for books. It was incredible how he was inspiring his Year 6 kids down there in his school. So what I propose today is that we start a hashtag Pass a Kids Book. And I'm going to chuck this book down to Rich Simpson, down there in the Isle of Wight somewhere, I think over that way somewhere. I'm going to chuck, or is it over there? Maybe over there. I'm going to chuck this book over to Rich Simpson and hope he can catch it. Catch this, Rich! Oh, there we go. So that's a copy of the book, hopefully gone to Rich. But everybody I've given a copy of the Rocket Kids book. I would love you to make a film of you catching that book, picking up a book that you're going to pass on and pass it off the screen, and let's do one of those keepy uppy but with books to celebrate children's reading, to celebrate children's literature. And the people I'd love to see involved in this would be David Waring up there in Cheshire. I'd love to see Simon Kidwell involved, Simon Smith over in Whitley Bay, who's fantastic with his picture book work, and I'd love to see a 60-second film by any of those people with those books. Dave Shakeshaft, Chris Tolson, Chris Dyson, Rachel Snake, all these people I've given a copy of this book to. I'd love to know what you think. And share, spread the love. I'm trying to think of that lovely head teacher at Woodlands Primary in Chester, actually, I gave a copy to on her birthday. So I want to see you give us one of these. So pass the book, that's what that's all about there. So, I've got to get this sign down, I've got to get out of here pretty damn quickly, but let me just tell you a little bit about what we got up to in Parliament the other day. We had a fantastic day. We pretended we were in Committee Room 14, as you can see here. We had the Lord Mayor of London, of Westminster, the Lord Mayor of Westminster, Councillor Ruth Bush, who's the first ever Labour MP to hold that post. We had Gina, a mum in Westminster, and she spoke, and her daughters came on and had a chat with the Lord Mayor of Westminster, who's actually their local councillor as well, which is just fantastic to create these connections. I really can't believe it. And Gina and the girls there had actually just taken hold of one of our art time boxes. This is a box containing coding kits, rocket making kit, t-shirts, papers and books, and we want to send out to communities on our tour. And we may even end up selling these, I don't know, but it's just about creating that inspiration. So she's had one of those, they've had one of those up on the Seacroft estate, and it's just been absolutely fantastic. We've connected the Lord Mayor of London, the Lord Mayor of Westminster, be careful saying that, the Lord Mayor of Westminster with Tom Morley, who's a fantastically inspiring artist, rock star, former drummer in Scritti Politti. He's done a lot of work with us. He does corporate innovation conferences, keynote speeches, motivation stuff. He's just brilliant. From the boardrooms of the biggest blue chip organisations to Extinction Rebellion in Marble Arch, Tom Morley just pops up everywhere, and he's just such an inspiration. Piers Thompson came on from Portobello Radio, and Chris Sullivan, we got him. He's a fantastic creative artist, club runner. He ran a club in Soho called the WAG Club for 20, 30 years. And so it was great to be able to introduce him to the Lord Mayor of Westminster, who's essentially responsible with her colleagues at Westminster Council for Soho and that whole nightlife scene. And Chris has got a lot of concerns, not only about the gentrification, but about what's going to happen to Soho once this virus lifts and we try and rebuild it, because all those businesses are really, really, really struggling. So that's a major concern, but it's great to connect Chris with the Lord Mayor there. We had this guy, Gary Taylor from Hull City Council. They had a year of City of Culture a few years ago. And also Paul Callaghan, Creative Sunderland, amazing guy. We've done a lot in Sunderland, so fantastic connections. These guys all came on the show. Grandad Wheels, that fantastic, inspiring man in a wheelchair who's written books and he's really got some ideas. And we discussed a brilliant idea with him about running a creativity festival day for people with disabilities. Tony Cordy, oh, this is incredible. Tony Cordy runs probably the biggest kids festival in the world, the Glastonbury Kids Field, and he came on and told us all about what he gets up to. He's a granddad, he's got loads of grandchildren, lives in South Wales. We're hoping to do a pop-up with him this week. Chris Tolson from Bradford came on, told us all about the Creative Careers Day that they're doing in May. We hope to team up with National Careers Week for that. And we're brilliant connecting someone like Tony Cordy, who runs the Kids Field at Glastonbury, with Chris Tofu, who runs the music for Caravanserai at Camp Bestival and does Shangri-La at Glastonbury as well. So what an amazing day. But this was a highlight. Action Jackson had a baby that morning. You could not make this up. It was just such an inspiration to have him on. Brand new dad, only 2 or 3 hours prior. His wife and daughter were back home. Just unbelievable. A Mayday baby. We had Ed Finch on, and he sang along with Grandad Pete. They sang that lovely anthem from Liverpool, the anthem of hope, of celebration, of togetherness. All Together Now, the song by the Farm. So that was fantastic to get that on there as well, and they sang that together. It was really very powerful. Had a bit of an arms in the air moment for that. We had Rich Simpson, who I've just mentioned. He came on and talked about the Hey Kids Bookfest. And Claire Pring dialed in. Claire just came across us on Twitter, and she came on and said what she thought and what she was doing, which is fantastic. Her work with teaching and dance up there in Derby. We had Bryn Llewellyn, an old friend, and it was Bryn who connected us with those schools in Leeds, and Chris Dyson and all our friends up there. So we owe so much to Bryn, so it was fantastic to connect with him. He was up there in, I think he was up in Wakefield near our old mate Hewell. And then we looked at The Greatest Gift. This film that I made 2 years ago of a 2-week tour of Britain I did, inspired by Elton John's life story in the John Lewis film, and how I took that down off the internet, put subtitles on it. Elton John retweeted it and had 50,000 views in just an hour. I borrowed a car off Peugeot and did a 2-week tour of Britain, living off rockets, telling Elton John's story, telling the Rocket Kids story. Here I am in Newport with Langston Primary, who I hope to catch up with this week. In Sheffield, I blagged a Lego train set off John Lewis and gave it to this lad from Parklands Primary, one of the children in Chris Dyson's school there. And in the same way that piano was to Elton John, we hope that Lego train set might just be some inspiration to that lad Macaulay, who hasn't got an awful lot in life and was so pleased to get that Lego train set. And that's the Art for All campaign. We passionately believe in Art for All, and there's been a lot of talk about distance learning and challenge communities not getting the technology and having the technology they need for their young people. And we're here to try and help close that gap. And the other day we had this fantastic talk from John Jackson from LGFL. He dialed in and told us and gave us a very, very, very special announcement.
It's quite fashionable to say that the education system's broken. It's not broken. It's just that we don't need it anymore.
This man wanted to build a school in the cloud. This organisation gave him $1 million to try. And he's staffing it with grannies. And Professor Siddhartha Mitra at the launch event of our month-long UK Art Takeover, here at our pretend Parliament and Parliament Square in the middle of London, England. Because we want to create a club for our kids and their creative carers where they can be inspired, where they can create and where they can share.
So John Jackson and LGFL, we are 100% behind you and backing you. And part of my day job is I'm building one of the world's biggest and fastest networks to get kids from school into the cloud. I've got the second biggest creative cloud in the world. And one of the challenges that COVID's brought up is, the lack of devices for disadvantaged children. I want to give you an exclusive. LGFL has gone out for 1 million devices.
Wow.
The biggest ever procurement of Chrome and Windows ever.
Wow.
And next week, we're doing the same with Apple.
It's whatever that 20% is, that is the information underclass. And I know that Martha Lane Fox spoke at a Beamer event last night about this. We have to close that gap. For lots of reasons, not only because of those guys, but because it's holding everybody back. It's actually holding the country back because we have to do the right thing by those 20. Vic Goddard is doing all his home learning on paper-based materials because he hasn't got tech for his 20, 30, 40, 50%, which is the right thing to do in a community setting. But they're going to be disadvantaged as a community against the country if they're not careful. And what you're doing is closing that gap with technology and tools and creativity, which is what we call art. The art of John Jackson, the art of LGFL today is closing the gap as far as I'm concerned. Just unbelievable. We would not be here. I would not be up in front of Big Ben if it wasn't for John Jackson and Bob and Laura and the team there at LGFL. Unbelievable support we've had from them. They've sponsored us, they've supported this, and we're first of 6 sponsors. We're looking for 5 more to help us do what we're doing today in these last few days, to roll it out across the country over the next month and the next 3 months after that. We want the UK Art Takeover to go beyond the 31st of May, but it can only do that with your support. So please like, retweet, comment on this film now. Go to our Facebook page, go to our website, sign up for updates. We are going to have so much fun. And if you want an indication of how much fun, how many people have you ever seen up on Big Ben with a big mirror ball like that? So we are going to have some good times. We've got DJ gear. We're going to have good times, as Nile Rodgers would say. So please join us. The most important thing underpinning this is what we're trying to achieve, and that is to fill that gap. We're working with school leaders and school communities all over the country, and we're proud to call a lot of them good friends and supporters. People like Chris Dyson, like Chris Tolson, Rachel Snape, Vic Goddard, Dave Shakeshaft, all those people, Simon Kidwell, amazing support, and we're just so grateful to you for your support. We say what we think, we think what we think has some value, and we listen to what people say. As Action Jackson said the other day, I don't care. Well, I do care. I care what people say, but I believe that we should all be able to have our voice and, in fact, not focus on the little bit at the extreme, the 20% that we disagree on, but to focus on the 80% in the middle. So this is to everybody that I've had some really healthy conversations with the last few days, whether it's Mr. G Primary up there in Northumbria or anybody else who we've had a disagreement with, because as Action Jackson says, he said I'm crazy, but he can see where I'm going, and I hope you can too. Just been amazing. But we're building not a school in the cloud, as Siddhartha Mitra said there. We are building not an after-school club in the cloud, but an out-of-school club in the cloud. With this amazing Grandad Pete up there in Liverpool, who's an IT Google certified educator, we are going to be building our own Facebook type, space, whatever you want to call it, community platform in the ground for parents, for children, for teachers and other creative carers to be inspired, to create together and to share. And every day this next 2 weeks on the UK Art Takeover tour, I will be doing a show every morning at 10 o'clock from a different place in the UK for an hour, talking to the children, giving them ideas, and then at 2 o'clock looking at what they've done. And then at 3 till 5 every afternoon we're doing an Art Connects show, celebrating, inspiring and showcasing the creativity in the communities that we visit. So we'll hope you'll sign up for that. If you want to get on the show, please sign up. So Grandad Pete is working on that. What's also very special is that we've been connecting with communities like these two girls here in Westminster. There they are chatting to the Lord Mayor of Westminster on the show on Friday. And there they are with Homer Hickam, as you saw in the video there, launching a rocket, watching a rocket launch in the community lock-in here that landed in a garden in Leeds. Unbelievable. So should we show you that? Should we just show you that? Yeah, come on. Let's go back. Oh, here we go. Try one more time.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition
8,
sequence
7,
start.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Can you see that?
Oh, wow!
Can you see it? Whoa!
I know.
Two lads off the estate, the Seacroft estate there in Leeds, with a super mum Leanne, who've built a crane out of scrap wood with an electric drill, who are the first members, the founder members of the Rocket Kids Club. Rowan and Samuel. 2020. 60 years before Homer Hickam and his friends made rockets themselves and wrote their story up in his life story, which he so generously shared with us. And that's why today's about books. We hope you'll be part of this journey. We hope you'll be part of the UK Art Takeover. We hope you'll be part of the...
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We hope you'll be part of the Rocket Kids Club, the Hey Kids Book Festival, the Art of Community Weekend. We are going to absolutely rinse it in the month of May, and if we enjoy it, we'll keep going. There's nothing stopping us now. So, just fantastic to connect here in London with Rowan and his mum Leanne there on the Seacroft estate in Leeds in Parklands Primary. They had a chat with this amazing professor, Professor Stephen Heppel, who came on with electronic headgear that changed colour as he moved his hands around his body. Wearable technology. This is the technology that our kids need to be getting their heads around. This is what we are all about here on the UK Art Takeover. But it's going to be nothing without you. It's going to be nothing without you and your art. Whatever it is you do that connects you to somebody else. I'll say it again, it could be painting or photography, cooking or coding, dancing, DJing, design, robots or rockets. That's what we call art, because art connects. I don't care if the robots do the dirty, the dangerous, the boring job. What we've got to make sure we do in school is educate all of you to have the skills to do the jobs that the robots won't be able to do.
Everyone was in awe of it, that you talked about the importance of literacy and reading, that you inspired them. That's exactly what you did, and that's what we want.
You're raising the aspirations of those children, you're giving them possibilities, you're making their dreams come true.
The kids have thoroughly enjoyed it, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and we've learned so much.
Nick Corston, now you're doing a fantastic initiative, bringing creativity back amongst young communities.
You said it yourself, Jamie, we're about art. Art is whatever we do that connects us to somebody else.
That's a great way of describing art, actually. I've never heard it described. Yeah, I've never heard it described like that. I mean, art is just something that touches other people, isn't it? It's just about creating, isn't it? It's great, and at these times, it's like you say, it doesn't matter how good you are. It's just about creating, isn't it?
I mean, the Arts Council, they've launched a 10-year strategy a couple of months ago, and it's all about creativity. It's all about let's create, empowering people to make something. It's about putting paint or cardboard boxes or computer code or even some DJ decks or a camera in the hands of kids and saying, you know, aim high. What can you do with that? Is that something you might be able to make a career out of, make some money? Is it something you might be able to make the world a better place with? Is it something that might help you in your learning? And that's what it's all about. But it's not just the kids. We've got to connect communities with those kids to inspire them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, fair play to you. Congrats. It looks really, really good fun, mate. And listen, Nick, good luck with it.
And thanks to Jamie East on Talk Radio for getting me on there. Hopefully we get a load more media and PR. If you know anybody in the press, media, give us a shout. Let's make this massive. So there you go. I only came up to get the sign. I brought my secret stash of biscuits, so I'm ready and prepared for Teacher 5 o'clock Club Monday morning with Paul Garvey. Don't miss that. That's my secret stash of biscuits, so I'll be putting those back later on. I better take these signs down, better get my mirror ball back down to the community lock-in disco. Thank you so much. I hope you'll be part of it. I'm going to put the whole of Friday's session up on a blog post so you can jump and see the pieces you want. I'll index that. It's currently 2:05. I came up here at 7:05 this morning to do a quick job, to do this quickly, and it's now 2:05, so that's 5 hours ago. I haven't had any breakfast, I haven't had a shower. As you can see, I haven't even done my hair because I don't do my hair, which is why I wear a helmet. I'm aiming high, and I hope you'll help me help our kids aim higher than high. But never forget.
It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art doesn't work because we did something conventional and predictable, and here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we connect.
So the festival that we will be organising in 2022 is a festival of creativity in its broadest sense. So what we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
An event like this is absolutely overdue, being from a working class families where we never have access to the arts.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do more of this so that we can connect friends through art. Is actually amazing.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really important.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing. Inspiring the kids. I think it's great. Not enough parents spend enough time with the kids. They leave them on the iPads and things like that. And I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Boys will be boys. Better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls. Cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to this stress and strain. I think I want to live that sporting life.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big screen to come here and celebrate. And I did a thing called a crowdfunder. I said to lots of people, I only gave myself 24 hours, and they said, you'll never do it.
Art and creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. So my whole life is a collaboration.